Good morning. My name is Mindy and I have lost over 120 pounds on Wegovy, Mounjaro, semaglutide compound, and I'm now back on Wegovy again. This week's video is probably going to be pretty short for reasons that I will explain momentarily, but I did want to make sure that I at least had a little bit of a check-in with you guys, let you know what was going on with me, show you my new nails. I've already had my strength workout this morning. I did a really good one by Senior Shape Fitness. It was a strength training video. I just bought my first pair of dumbbells for the house, and I will link them down in the description in case you guys are interested in adding to your home gym. I much prefer working out at home over leaving my house and going to the gym. It minimizes the number of excuses that I have not to go. And trust me, I don't need any more excuses. I have lots of them. I'm a professional excuse maker. So I already did my workout this morning, had my breakfast, went on my walk, and now it's pill and shot time. If you guys are interested in knowing what supplements I take on a daily basis, I have a couple videos where I talk about all of that. I will link them down below. I've shown you guys my shots a million times. The Wegovy pen instructions and the Mounjaro pen instructions and the Ozempic pen instructions are all very different. I have a video of me doing my Mounjaro shot. It's a short. It's the most watched video on my channel. And I love how I constantly get comments from people telling me that I'm not leaving the needle on my arm long enough. I realize that I speed a lot of this up during editing because you don't want to stand here and watch me holding a pen to my arm for 10 to 15 seconds. And the Mounjaro pen operation is very different from the Wegovy pen operation. The Mounjaro pen also has 2 clicks, just like the Wegovy pen, but the second click on the Mounjaro pen is the needle retracting out of your skin. So continuing to hold that pen there after that second click is pretty pointless because it can't possibly dispense any more medication into you because the needle isn't even in anymore. Well, the Wegovy instructions used to say that you needed to hold it in place for 10 seconds. They have since updated the instructions to say that you only need to hold it in place until the yellow plunger stops moving, which is what I do. I usually hold it for a second or so beyond when the plunger stops moving, but you can hear there's like a little hiss that happens when the medication is done. It's like all the air bubbles going through. So I've been doing this long enough that honestly, I could probably do it without even looking because I know what the pen sounds like when it's done. You're going to start by taking your pen out of the fridge about 20 to 30 minutes beforehand. I actually took mine out last night. You can leave them out of refrigeration for up to 28 days before injection, as long as they're in an air-conditioned environment. So I'm going to start by sanitizing my arm. And then you need to let that dry completely because alcohol equals burning. There are many people that say you don't even need to sanitize. I don't know. I'm a precaution girly. I'm a better safe than sorry kind of girl. So I still sanitize. Once that's done with the Wegovy pen, all you do is remove the cap. There's a little bubble in there. You can see where the medication is moving and it's clear. I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. That little window is going to be filled up by yellow plunger. It was stingy today, even though, like I told you guys, I left this out last night, so it is what it is. I did do it a little further forward on my arm because I have more fat over here, and I was thinking that maybe some of the stinginess was because I was injecting into a leaner part of my arm, but who the heck knows? I can't figure that out what the link is between why it stings sometimes and why it doesn't. So you can see here now that window is fully yellow, which means all of the drugs have been dispensed into my body. And we're going to put the pen cap on. This goes into a sharps container. If you do not have one, I always have a link down in my description to a free sharps container from Novo Nordisk, and you can go and get yourself one, or you can use a hard plastic container. Like a laundry soap dispenser is ideal. It has that little screw at the top where you can throw them in and then screw it on. Check the rules in your state. In Texas, I can just duct tape over that, write sharps on the container, and throw it in my regular trash, but apparently that's not legal everywhere. I found that out a couple weeks ago. That's it for my shot. I'm going to change out of these sweaty clothes, and then I will come back and talk to you guys about my week. So this is round 2 of recording, and I'm just checking to make sure that my audio is actually working this time because I swear to you I had attached my microphone and everything this morning, but somehow, some way, I just went to edit that video and there was no audio. So before I get any further into this recording, I'm going to check and make sure the audio is working. We're golden. Now I'm paranoid. I'm going to be checking it every 5 seconds. Wanted to kind of let you know what's been going on this weekend, what's going on this week, and why it is that we're getting such a short video this week. If you guys have been watching my videos lately, you'll know that my husband and I are getting ready to go on vacation this week. My husband has been part of a medieval fighting recreation game since he was like 14. He's a part of a fighting company, and we're basically like a giant family of people, and we hang out all the time outside of AmpGuard and also as part of AmpGuard. And this week is Spring War, which is the largest gathering in the country, I believe. And over the year, we get as many as 600 people that come to this from all over the country. And we've rented an RV. We're going to be staying there all weekend. It's out in Seguin, and we're there from Thursday through Sunday. And we have people coming in from out of state that we're super excited to see. And it should just be a really, really good time. But the really cool thing is that this year there's a theme, and it's Alice in Wonderland themed. So I talked about this last week, but I found an inspiration picture that I will show here of a Renaissance themed Alice in Wonderland costume. And I got a wild hair up my butt and decided that I wanted to make a garment for the first time in my entire life in like a week and a half before the event. So I spent pretty much all day Saturday finishing that, and I did finish it. It's not perfect because it's my first time making anything to wear, but it is wearable. It does go on my body. It's a little longer than I would have liked it to be. I would have liked to have had a bigger ruffle on top. I made plenty of room for seam allowances everywhere else, but I wasn't thinking about like the armpit length, like the whole length, and how the ruffle at the top at the neckline would take up that space. My brain didn't think that far. So lessons learned, I guess. Anybody that's ever created a sewing project or has ever sewn anything, you know that you learn something new on every project, especially when you're not following a pattern. I was just following a YouTube video and I had to make my own pattern. And anyway, yeah, so it was definitely experience. I will make sure that I give you guys pictures. Stay tuned for that on next week's video, because it won't be happening until Saturday night after this video already goes up. I spent pretty much all day Saturday working on that. And then yesterday, which was Sunday, I did some meal prep and basically made the only recipe that I'm going to be making this week. Pretty much all of our other meals this week are going to be leftovers, because Thursday morning early we're going to be heading out to this event and we won't be home to eat a bunch of food. I did find one new recipe when I was scrolling through Instagram that I knew I would want to try, and I guess it's like a lazy version of the viral Gigi Hadid pasta. I don't even know. I'm not a viral anything kind of girl, so I didn't even know that was a thing. But this was just a high protein, super easy to throw together recipe. It took me less than 20 minutes from start to finish, and it wouldn't have taken any longer if I had made more than 3 servings, but I only needed 3. Super easy to do. It was just 5 ounces of pasta. I used the Barilla Protein Plus pasta. This stuff is miles better than the Bonza chickpea pasta. The texture is pretty much almost identical to just regular pasta. I just cooked according to the package directions. I think I shorted the cooking time by like a minute or so. I had 6 ounces of pre-cooked chicken. I shop sales for my meat, because when you're on a high protein diet, if you don't find good prices for meat, your grocery budget is going to be crazy. So I buy chicken when it's on sale, and I buy a lot of it. And so oftentimes I will just cook off a bunch of that. I'll just season it however I want to. And then I will cook it off and store it in vacuum sealed bags in my freezer already cooked, so that when I find a recipe like this, or really a lot of the macro friendly food recipes also call for cooked chicken, I already have it made. I can just pull it out and just throw together the recipe. So 6 ounces of chicken that I chopped up and threw in there. It was a half a cup of marinara sauce. I think she used Rayo's, which a lot of people are big fans of. I'm not a fan of the price tag of Rayo's, so I just used H-E-B Organics tomato basil. I love the flavor of it, and it doesn't have any added sugar. Not that that's really an issue for me, but it is nice when you don't really need the sugar in the pasta sauce, in my opinion. I added some seasoning. I just did sprinkled in a little bit of Italian seasoning, some onion powder, some garlic powder, some red pepper flakes, and some black pepper. She added cottage cheese. Now, her recipe didn't say how much cottage cheese, and I was gonna make some cottage cheese ranch to take with me for snacks for this week anyway. I bought a 24-ounce container and I only needed 16 ounces for the ranch. Basically, you're just subbing out sour cream for blended cottage cheese, and then you use the Hidden Valley Ranch dip mix. That's all I did for the ranch dip. And then the other 8 ounces, I just distributed among the 3 bowls. I mixed that up just to get the chicken and all the sauce incorporated all over the pasta. And then I added a ½ ounce each of part skim mozzarella cheese. I'm not a fan of fat-free cheese. I think fat-free cheese is disgusting, but low fat or part skim cheese is just fine by me. As long as you're shredding it yourself, it melts just fine. Fat-free cheese, I feel like it has the texture of rubber and even less flavor. So ½ ounce in each of them with the shredded cheese, which was a lot more than you would think. Today, when I went to work, I just warmed it up in the microwave for a minute, stirred it around, did it for another 30 seconds, stirred it around, and it was actually really delicious. Work Mindy here. I'm just stirring up the, oh, it's cheesy. That's a fun noise. It's very saucy and cheesy. Okay. Yum, 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 yum. Make that faux show. So good. And the macros are fantastic. It has, please hold. Where did I put my phone? Oh, Peloton. Where the heck did I put my phone?
I found it.
The macros on the pasta with the ingredients that I used and the brands that I used was 407 calories, 37 grams of protein, which is exactly 30%. Now, when I was mixing it up, I was like, that's way too much cottage cheese. That's going to be crazy. But honestly, I really liked how saucy it was. I would probably reduce it by a little bit. Like maybe if you were making 4 bowls instead of 3, 8 ounces would probably be just fine. You could probably even stretch it to 5 and it would still be fine because it was very, very saucy, but I was not mad at it and the flavor was delicious. Other than doing that, pretty much all I had to do was just cut up some fruit because I'm doing strawberry fluff this week, but I decided that it would be fun to try pineapple for the fresh fruit edition instead of strawberries because strawberries have not been great lately. They're really not quite in season yet and they've been really like sour and like the texture hasn't been great. So I know I like the combination of strawberry and pineapple, and the pineapple was really good in the lime version. So I decided to do strawberry with pineapple, and I think that's going to be super delicious because the pineapple I found was primo. So good. So that was the only food prep that I had yesterday. I cut up all the fruit and I stirred together my cottage cheese and strawberry Jello. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I do have a recipe card on my Buy Me a Coffee page that is printable for my strawberry protein fluff, or I always have the recipe down in the description below. If you want a printable version, feel free to visit my Buy Me a Coffee page where you can purchase a printable version of the recipe. You can also become a member if you'd like to help support my content. But again, that recipe is always down in the description if you are not interested in having a printable version. So once I was done with my, with my food prep, then I started on my fingernails. And y'all, labor of love doesn't even begin to cover it. If you've been around for a while, you know I do my own nails. I do have my cosmetology license, but back when I was practicing, I pretty much just did hair. So nails, I just do on myself for fun. I also do them for my friend Nikki, but I did my own acrylic and I did a brand new set, and then it came time to paint, and I decided that it would be super fun to do an Alice in Wonderland themed nail set. So I designed the nail art myself based on a bunch of pictures that I saw and things that I wanted to try. Y'all, it took me 2 hours to paint my first hand. And then it took me another 1.5 hours to paint the second one. Now, they're really pretty. I'm very happy with how they turned out. I don't know that I will ever do anything this involved ever again because all my parts hurt after I was done painting yesterday, and I was just exhausted. My eyes hurt because of the fatigue from looking at all the tiny things, and it's just, yeah, they're gorgeous. I love them. I don't know that I will ever do anything this crazy ever again. That brings us to today. I worked today, I work tomorrow, and then Wednesday is just going to be a full day of cooking, packing, all things prep to get ready to go on our camping trip. I did want to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of this breakthrough that I had over the weekend. I try to eat homemade meals, like home cooked meals, the majority of the time. We do allow ourselves to eat out a few times a week. Usually Friday night we have dinner, Saturday and Sunday we usually go out one meal those days. Randomly, there are events that will mean we eat out a little bit more than that, but in general, that's what we try to stick to. And when I go out, especially during a cut phase or a weight loss phase like I'm in right now, I try to make sure that I'm making healthier choices when I go out to eat, like a protein and a side or something like that. But I don't always want to. And sometimes I'll find myself feeling really deprived or having a fight with myself about the thing that I really want that's more decadent or more calorie heavy. And really, since the beginning, since I started this diet, my diet has always been about balance. I don't think that being super restrictive is sustainable, and I think that the most important thing is to stick to something that you can stick to long term. So I do have decadent foods from time to time. I do splurge and I enjoy things that I really, really want from time to time. But when you're eating out 3 times a week, time to time can't be every single week, right? So that's not balance either. This weekend, I kind of had a moment where I was trying to choose between 2 options, and one of them was a much more reasonable option, and the other one was a little richer, a little cheesier. And I started to have this moment where I was kind of getting sad because I was thinking about not getting the cheesier, more rich, more decadent option. And it was like this moment where I was able to capture the emotion that was being triggered by a food choice. And as someone who has struggled with binge eating and emotional eating, being able to identify that happening in the moment is a huge step for me. It is one of the first times that I've been able to recognize that in the moment, other than last week when I was able to avoid that binge. It just feels like I'm finally starting to come into this state of mind where I'm actually able to recognize these thoughts and emotions and feelings before I'm allowing myself to make those choices that I know aren't the best choices for me. And that's exciting to feel like I'm making that progress and to feel like I'm learning more about myself and growing in that way. If you've struggled with binge eating or emotional eating and you're still struggling with those things and you're still fighting those urges, even on the GLP medications, just know that with enough practice and enough time, eventually you'll get better at capturing those thoughts and you'll get better at overcoming those desires and even start to develop that healthier mindset where you're starting to crave the better options a little bit more often. And you're kind of feeling the urge to go for those, higher calorie options a little bit less and less and less. And I won't say that will ever go away because I loved food too much for that. But it just is a testament to learning those good habits and putting them into place and just knowing that eventually it's going to become more second nature. You're not going to have to think about it all the time. I wanted to share that with you guys because it felt like a big victory to me. And if it was something you can identify with or you've been struggling with, I just wanted to let you know that it does get better. And I think that's it for this video. I know it was a weird one and it was really short, but I didn't want to let a full week go by without at least checking in and saying hi. So I hope you're having an awesome week. If you enjoyed this video or you found it helpful, please give it a like. Say hi to me down in the comments. Share this video with your friends if you want to. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.
We're on a journey, looking back on the things that we've taken for granted, but feels like we're learning to be better without what's been holding us back.